was Gaza, what would you do? I would bring it down to a household level. It's your house, is Israel. You have a neighbor next door who's importing BB guns and M80s and grenades and flares and everything and firing at them. And you had the ability to inspect ships that were going there, not to keep them, but to inspect ships and flour and everything that's fine for them to eat. Would you do the same? Tell me how you would approach this if this was your personal neighbor.
Are you asking this for illegal settlements?
No. He brought up the blockade. Tell me what you would, the person who said that, what would you do differently if Israel was your house and Gaza was your hostile neighbor?
Move? Like someone moved me to the gulag just now?
No.
Because I did, because you don't need to tell the moderators to stop speaking. They're trying to have a conversation. I don't know, and use the word rhetoric appropriately.
I didn't tell anyone to stop speaking. I said I didn't want to answer any more rhetorical questions. I just was trying to understand what he was saying. It's 7 a.m. where I'm at, bro. Okay.
I'm just saying, you kept saying no more rhetoric. If you understand what the word rhetoric means, you wouldn't have used it in that case because it hurts you.
You're right. I meant no more rhetorical questions. Excuse me.
And it's 8:30, not 7 a.m.
You're right.
No, he's in the Pacific Ocean.
Forgot my GMT.
I think that Yaakov kind of makes a pretty good point to bring it to the household level. If Israel was your house and your neighbor was issuing violent threats to you and you had the ability...
Not just issuing, was shooting stuff towards your property, was lighting your grass on fire with M80s, was, shooting BB guns.
And you had the ability to block him from receiving and having these sorts of weapons or abilities, would you do that?
So there's a street between your neighborhood and his neighborhood. It's one street. And they keep coming into the middle of that street and then throwing fire bombs and Molotov cocktails over on your side. And they even break through the street one time and came over and...
Complicating things with putting a street there, Mike. There's literally a fence.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sorry. Okay, I was just I pictured one single street because the blockade would mean...
Picture it as one house next to another house.
Sure. So would you enforce that fence? The question is to him, would he do something about stopping the penetration of the threat at that fence line?
But this isn't a fence that we're talking about. We're talking about...
We are talking about a fence, a literal fence.
You can buy from Amazon. We're talking about what you can receive through the mail, like who can visit your neighbor, or how often they can be there. How often? Let me just end on this point.
Complicating it. You're totally complicating it.
I appreciate it, but let me just end on this point. That you're also delegating when your neighbor can leave their house.
No, there's another exit. They can go out the Egypt exit, okay, which happens to not be,
and never come back.
Yeah. They can come in and out. Listen, there's another exit. All right. Let's just call it. There's another exit.
It's an open air prison.
All right.
They can leave their house.
We'll move to the open air prison claim in a minute because we were talking about a blockade. All right. You're talking about allowing things in that could be used to harm you. Okay. That's a blockade. All right, as far as the access and the exit, there's another exit. Nobody's calling on Egypt to open up their fucking border, all right? Where people can go in and out. And if you think that this blockade was so strong, how did they get all these hundreds of thousands of weapons in there? How do they get all these missiles in there? All right?
I mean, perhaps...
It was obviously not that blocked. How are people in Gaza going out to vacation and they've got internet?
I think
not that blocked.
Okay, let's talk about the weapons. Bibi was funding Hamas. He probably sent them the weapons personally, or allowed them to get shit from Qatar, or not Qatar.
Because he wanted them to have a better life. Because he felt that if they had the ability to have prosperity there, that they wouldn't be a threat.
Well, they can't have much prosperity without freedom of travel on airports.
They have freedom of travel.
They don't. They don't have freedom to have like water treatment centers because like a lot of that equipment is banned. It's
They chose not to have the water treatment centers. They were given billions and billions and billions of dollars from the world community. Okay, they could have built Singapore there, but they built terrorist infrastructure.
How could they build Singapore without an international airport?
They had an airport until they started launching attacks into Israel, and it got destroyed. The United States and the international community built an international airport there.
When?
Go Google it. It was in the 90s. Daniel, tell me about the airport.
So
90s until 2006. 2006, they had an international airport in Gaza until they started shooting missiles from it.
Okay, so for like 10 to 15 years, they had airports.
And they decided to start shooting rockets into Israel, and it got destroyed.
But when there's been war throughout like the 90s. There's an Abraham Accord in like 2000. Like dog,
Apply double standard. Apply the rules of
it
double
wasn't
standard.
a piece. What, bro? Like
Just everything you're saying. Apply the rule of double
what
standard.
rule? What rule? Like okay, you apply for me, man. I'm that confused because you're interrupting me. It's making me very frustrated. Like.
Because everything you're saying.
Once again, see, if you're saying that you give all the money to the Palestinians and to build that and build this, then what the hell is West Bank then?
Minute. Listen, it gets frustrating because everything you say, right, the other side of the coin, you have to be asking. Okay, well, what do you think the response should be when rockets are being shot at you? All right, we're gonna fight. Okay, I think we should do what we say they want to kill us. Okay,
Brother, if you allow me to speak, I'm sympathetic to Israel, like the people of Israel, not the governments, not at all. Like, war criminals. But like, yes, I'm sympathetic to the people that lost family or were lost on October 7th. Like, I'm sympathetic to the situation, the people that live in insecurity.
The government are the people. It's a democracy. It's a representative government.
You're not the government, bro. Okay, go walk into the Knesset right now if you're the government. Like, that's an odd idea.
You can visit the Knesset. There is no problem. And, you know, there's a lot of criticism about Israel. But people are asking, okay, what would you do? And just kind of a quick story about this airport. It was destroyed when, like after the second Intifada, right? 2000 and, was it?
I think 6.
But the Palestinian...
After Hamas was voted into power, and they put in their charter that they want to kill and eliminate.
Yeah. No, my point is that it was shut down like in 2006. But Palestinian Airlines kept on working and paying salaries to people, and it was only shut down in 2020. They still kind of pay salaries for people for decades. But anyway, back to the topic. Like, the problem is you have like a group in an area that militarizes a zone, firing rockets and vowing to destroy you. And we have a thing, like weird thing as Jews, we don't like to die. Okay, so let's kind of agree on this. What would you do,
bro?
And by the way, like people say, I think it was you, Will, that said that you have sympathy for those that died on 7th of October.
Yes.
People die in Israel every day from terror attacks. I understand it doesn't come to the media, but there was a terror attack today, and there was yesterday, and last week there were like 2 Palestinians that went into Tel Aviv and started just randomly shoot people on the train, killing like 9 people. Like there was a mother holding a baby and she just shot in her head. So there are like people that are dying constantly. And let's agree, or like our only demand is that we want to live in safety. So offer whatever you want, and I will go with this, and I wish the Palestinians to have everything, great transportation and great health, great education, everything. But I have only one demand, which is that our life, our safety will be guaranteed. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. If dignity, equality were given to all people in the Palestine-Israel region, I think that would greatly guarantee the safety of my Jewish brothers throughout the world.
So if we pulled out of Gaza in 2005 and they elected their government, are we responsible to give them rights? They have their own governments. Why is it our responsibility?
According to the United Nations, Gaza has been under occupation since like before 2005, since before the 90s.
Okay, so let's do a quick rundown, okay? 1948 until 1967, Gaza was occupied by Egypt, and then Israel took it, right? In 2005, Israel pulled out. In 2023, now we went back in. In 2025, and I'm sorry, in 2005, when we pulled out, there was no occupation and there was no blockade.
There was
Then,
no blockade.
no, hold on. No, there was no blockade. Then, after we pulled out, they had election. They voted Hamas. Hamas vowed to destroy Israel. And then we imposed the blockade. Not just Israel, Egypt, and the Palestinian Authority. And that is after. There was no blockade and there was no occupation. They had democracy and they chose Hamas. And Hamas, you can read their charter from back then, they vowed to destroy and kill every Jew. So again, you want to talk about dignity? Let's start with our dignity and the basic of staying alive.
Well, Hamas
Whose
has
responsibility? Yes.
Hamas has updated their charter, and I would say
Again,
there's
in
far-
2005, my friend Will,
Yep.
2005, when they were, the updated was 2017. They were elected in 2006. Their charter in 2006 was not updated. You are talking about more than a decade afterwards.
That's fair.
All right, so let's stay with the time span that we're talking about. So again, what would you do? And not tell me what not to do. I understand all the criticism. Everybody is like a new sport criticizing Israel. But let's try a new event. How about telling me what we should do, not what we shouldn't do?
I meant what I said as completely genuine. I know it went over people's heads. Some people roll their eyes, but I seriously think that like the only thing that is going to make other people in the world happy, people in Palestine happy, neighboring Arab countries happy, is seeing Palestinian people with equal rights and dignity.
What do you
And it's
mean
like,
equal rights?
I'll answer your question, bro.
Yeah, but what do you mean equal rights? It's like a title. I don't understand what it means. They are Palestine, like, you know, Americans should have equal rights to Israelis. Moroccans should have equal rights to Spaniards. Like, they have their own government. Like, what right should Israel give to another nation that have another government? It's a title. Can you break it down to me? What do you mean?
The reason why I'm saying it like that, I think you don't understand why I'm phrasing it like that. The reason why I'm phrasing it like that, because I could say there should be a 2-state solution. I could say there should be a 1-state solution. I just care about the results. Like, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if it's 48 states. I don't care. I just care that the people, and it's like for Jews, it's like I don't have to say white lives matter, because it's like, yeah, Jews already are living with dignity and rights. So that is absolutely a given too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, so I don't hear, like, I understand.
I just
Yes,
want
I
to
also
check
wanted
if
to.
he picked up. Yeah, I know. Hold on. I just want to make sure that he picked up the question of equal rights to whom, because if they're in a different country, you know, they're responsible for that themselves. Okay, it's not up to Israel, and they had an opportunity for this, and in fact, Israel completely walked away in 2005, which gave them full autonomy to decide how to govern themselves, and they chose the path of destruction and not growth. Okay, and now we're put back into this position again, and where we're at full war again with Gaza. Right, you understand that, Will?
Yeah.
They should have equal rights to who? Who do they need to be freed from? Right, free Palestine from who?
From the occupying powers. Like,
No, before we talk to Free Palestine, let's stay with
Okay,
Gaza.
brother.
Yeah, because Free Palestine is a whole new topic by itself, I think.
Brother, I'm talking to medical students in Gaza. They are operating without anesthesia.
Again, I'm asking you. That is called consequences. I know everything. Believe me, I'm very much. Yes, about this topic.
Then there's
like everything that you're saying.
Everything.
No. I mean everything that you're saying. I mean I know the talking point. What I'm asking you is, what do you suggest?
It's not a talking point. It's my life, bro. Like what? Like
it's my life also.
A personal experience.
But it's not. Listen.
Go ahead.
If I would tell you that it's my life, but if I would tell you, okay, we took a guy and we locked him up and we do not allow him to see his family, and you're like, oh my God, But then I'll tell you, okay, but he murdered people or he raped people. That is called the jail, okay? It's called consequences. So I understand, yes, they have a blockade, but you need to understand why. So I'm asking you, you have a lot of criticism, and as I said, criticizing Israel is fun. You feel righteous, whatever. But tell me, you are now the prime minister of Israel, okay? We pulled out of Gaza. We told them, go have your election. They said, okay, we choose Hamas, and we basically, our platform is to basically annihilate you. So what do you do?
Okay, I was wondering when you would put it at a specific day, because I was like, yo, what do I do in 1948? Like, what I do in, like, what era am I responding
Except partition. Except partition. Well,
whenever you want, you know.
Like, okay, like
you choose a time frame. You choose a time frame and tell me.
For sure.
Pick a point in history.
You pick one. It wouldn't be okay. You picked right after the blockade started in 2005 when Israel.
No, again, you.
Yo, allow me to answer. You gave your answer. You gave your answer. I disagree with you, but
but you cannot. You can disagree with me. You cannot reinvent history. The blockade.
This isn't reinvention, like, bro.
Yes, but I already corrected you, my friend. Hold on. Can you go on Google and check when did the blockade started? Because you are reinventing history. The blockade didn't start when we pulled out. The blockade started after Hamas was elected. That is like facts. It's not about my opinion. There's no one. You cannot debate it. You know, I think that Israel was established in 1835.
Brother, oh my God. Can I get to the question?
Yes.
Okay, like, okay. Yeah. You gave a good chronology, like, earlier. Okay, but to answer the question, I honestly think that in America, the solution isn't for white people and black people to kill each other. Like, when shit gets that bad, okay, it's not gonna get, like, it's really bad. I think the solution is for us to talk to each other. Like, the solution is for us to...
Are you stupid?
So let's get to a compromise. I want you dead. You want to stay alive. Let's meet in the middle.
Okay, bro. Man, y'all are, like...
No, but this isn't a black and white issue. Kelly. Listen, you have been fucking rambling and getting upset because people are having to correct your fucking completely loose grasp of history this whole time. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You basically just told us why it is that you have this, and I'm not going to call it anti-Israeli or anti-Jew, but retarded version of history, retarded preference when it comes to this, as soon as you see it as a black and white issue. You obviously don't know what the fuck the demographics are in Israel. Don't waste people's time. Read something, and when you want to get back on stage, A, be able to use the word rhetoric, and B, be able to talk about what the fuck the discussion.
The other thing that's comical is how he says that he is an ally of Israel, and then all he does is speak in terms of not understanding at all what it takes to support Israel. So it's like he has all these tropes and narratives about coming from the opposite side, but then every time you call him on it, he says, "Oh, but I'm an ally of Israel," as if that just makes up for everything he's arguing, which makes no sense.
Hey, Yirmiyahu. Sorry, the doctor came in. The doctor came in right as I was asking the question about the neighbor. How did that go? That part. Just.
It kind of derailed. It kind of derailed because he's unable to answer the question. When you put it into the lens of apply a double standard. I mean, if you were, I love the way you put it, Yaakov, about a neighbor, because people cannot answer it in any other way than they would defend themselves, and that they would block the neighbor from receiving explosives, and that they would stand up in the defense of their own property and in defense of their safety. You know, there's no other way to answer this. That's okay. Quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of people telling me how to defend myself. Okay, when we have actual, literal genocidal maniacs, terrorists, which openly call for the full destruction of our people, and then complain about a genocide. They complain there's too many dead Gazans when their society has risen up and declared that they want to murder and destroy all of our people. So shut the fuck up when you have the consequences of it.
I mean, I
And
can really
for
blame
that
them.
matter, all you have to do is surrender, and we can have some peace.
I mean, many people that are not part of this conflict and they get like a third of the history, you know, they only get the consequences. It's like my story that I said about this man, this poor man, that he has a family, but the government or someone put him in a 3 to 3 meter room. They don't let him out. They keep him there for years. If you don't tell the part where he, I don't know, raped several women, then you know you feel sorry for the guy. Context matter, and consequences come after action. So if someone tells you there's a blockade on Gaza, you shouldn't say like, oh, even Israelis. Maybe the right question would be like, why? And if the answer is like, because they're evil,
We did ask him,
you need to-
Daniel, before you were here. We asked him
And what did he
before
say?
you were here. He
did
danced.
you know why there's...
Exactly.
No, they didn't let me answer. If you're talking about me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
why was there a blockade on Gaza? They told you already. And I think you need to understand that actions have consequences. And when you want to murder people, then the people will defend themselves. You don't want to die? Just don't kill us. That is so simple.
In the airport thing, I'm really hung up on the airport thing because his entire point was that how can they be a country of their own without an airport? And then he's told they had an airport, they were given an airport, and they had it for several years, and they abused it in terms of using it for purposes other than what it was intended for. And now again, they're being held with consequences for their actions. It's like people that defend them can't recognize that, like, that when do they get consequences for their actions? When you look at all the way Palestinians act, and every time they're given something, every time they're given an opportunity for a 2-state solution, they turn it down 7 times. Now they're being shot at, and now they're like, oh, but this is all we want. No, time's done. You don't get offers over and over and over again continuously, and then you act out, you act inappropriately, and then you get another offer, and then you act inappropriately, you get another offer. Guess what? They're never going to learn their fucking lesson unless they're held accountable for the way they're acting. They need to chill the fuck out, calm down, quit trying to destroy the reality that there's a country next to them that they don't approve of. So what? Deal with it. Because here's the deal, world, and it comes down, it's really simple. If they put their weapons down tomorrow, they would, quote unquote, lose the war. They would have to take egg on their face. We went, we attacked, we did this thing on October 7th, and they came back overwhelmingly and destroyed the fucking shit out of us, and we lost the war. Got it. They would have to live with that. At that point forward, Israel would not continue wiping them out. If they put their weapons down and accepted defeat, Israel would stop.
I don't believe you.
Well, whether or not you believe me, that's a fact, dude, because Israel's not interested, because Israel has never been interested in growing and expanding their borders. They're interested in securing themselves from being attacked. If there was no missiles coming toward Israel, the Israeli Defense Force, IDF, you know how Japanese has Maritime Defense Force? It's a defense force. That's different.
They're offensive.
They're not offensive. They're a defense force. Both in name and in action.
I want to ask you a question. Well, before you said you're Ghanaian, right?
They don't take action until they're acted upon, world.
Yes, yeah.
It's simple.
Bro, what?
Well, you said you were Ghanaian, right?
Are you about to shit test me?
No, you said you were.
Yes,
You should.
yes.
You should. You haven't known
Yes.
what you've been talking about
And,
on stage this whole time.
And
Bro,
one second, bro.
Oh, go ahead.
And you were talking about like the black and white differences. Israel is black and white.
No, I didn't say that. I was getting interrupted.
Okay, my bad. Have you ever heard of the Sudanese conflict and what happened there between the Arab Muslims in the north and the black Christians in the south? You ever heard about this?
What about this? What about that? What about this?
I'm sure you never talk about
What about
this.
that?
You don't realize that.
What about this?
I'll educate you. Let me educate you.
No, I didn't ask.
Let me tell you. No, you asked the question. I beg. I know this. He's interrupting for no reason. What people like him don't understand is that it's not a black and white issue, because without Israeli people, there is no South Sudan. we're the darkest people in the whole world. He needs to understand this, of what is being educated. There's nothing to do with black people, white people, Asian people, Arab people, Muslim people, whatever it is in Israel. And if you go to Israel, you figure this out. That's the actual polar opposite difference. And it comes from Ghana. And the reason I mentioned Ghana is 20% of Ghana is Muslim right now. In the 1960s, the 1980s, and 1990s, the Muslims caused 3 civil wars in Ghana. That's why he's a refugee in the United States. And now he comes here, shit talking about the state of Israel, other countries that help him and his people get along so well in the western part of the African continent. I just find it ridiculous, because if you know a thing or two about Ghanaian history, you would know that the reason the Ghanaian state actually exists at the moment because the United States intervened under President Kennedy and they intervened under President Reagan. So if you're not going to know these 2 parts of the facts, I don't want to listen to the rest of the story, because he's a Ghanaian American and he should know the history of his country. And for him to say that just shows how brainwashed people are in San Francisco or San Diego, wherever he's from in California. Because it absolutely makes no sense when he talks to other Africans, because we don't have the race card against us. It's just stupid and it's ridiculous. Thanks, guys. I'm done.
I also want to know when Israel fired rockets anywhere outside of their territory that in advance of being attacked. I want to know when they did that, just offensively. Because if somebody can't tell the difference between an act of defense or an act of offense, then I don't understand how they can even judge the morality between which rocket firing which direction is appropriate and inappropriate, which is a basic thing that you have to do to decide whether or not something's right or wrong, morally speaking, or whether or not to support one action or the other. Israel, I would love him to come back and tell me one time that Israel randomly, sporadically fired rockets out of their territory, not in response to something coming into their territory.
I think part of it is that, when Israel is being attacked, and I blame Israel for this in a way, that we kind of normalize it. It's non-news, okay? I don't think that any news channel reported daily, for example, about the attacks on the north of Israel, about burning all the forests there, about evacuating displacing 80,000, 100,000 people. When do they hear it? When Israel attacks back. So when you join the movie, only when we fight back, then they think it's an offensive war. They ignore 1 year of us getting more than 10,000 rockets. Give me one country that will allow 3 rockets to go into the space without retaliating. The problem is that, a lot of stupid Americans are like, we shouldn't fund the Iron Dome. If Israel didn't have the Iron Dome, it will cost Palestinians' lives. The fact that we have the Iron Dome means that we can sustain it. But if we didn't have the Iron Dome, we would have to go in and destroy shit.
Well, in fact, why don't other countries have the Iron Dome? Why doesn't Iran have the Iron Dome? They could afford one. Because they don't need it. You have it because there's a reason for it. It's not like you want to spend money on that. It's not. If you were an offensive force, you wouldn't have an Iron Dome. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm just saying that people outside are, and a lot of people are getting the Palestinian narrative is way stronger, okay? There are like 2 billion Muslims, you have like channels, it's also like the victim mentality, the leftists and the Western world likes like the underdog. So Israel seems to be strong. So when we are attacked, it's like, not really not big news. So it's really not, they don't know about it. They don't know that every day we have a terror attack. If there would be a terror attack tomorrow in London, everybody would be talking about it. Everybody. There would be in every broadcast in France, in Spain, in Israel, everybody would be talking about it. But when it happens in Israel daily, it just became boring. So people don't report about it. But for us,
Dan,
it's an issue.
That's true, except the most obvious exception to that is October 7th. Prior to October 7th, Israel was not taking ground in Gaza. They weren't crossing the fence in there to bomb. They weren't firing rockets into Gaza at the even close to the level they were now. It was like a 1-for-1. One comes in, one goes out, one comes in, one goes out randomly, and it didn't even make the news. Then October 7th happens, and suddenly Israel's on a rampage. Got it. Let's go right before October 7th and ask me how busy they were doing what they're doing now. They weren't. Like, everybody can see, it's very common sense that October 7th was a tipping point of sorts. It was a catalyst for a reaction. If somebody wants to go backwards and go, well, why was that happen? Why did October 7th happen? Let's talk about it. What are the catalysts for reactions that occurred in the opposite? What was the catalyst for October 7th? There wasn't one, other than an ongoing general lack of happiness on the part of the Gazans because there's a fence there and somebody next door they don't like. What's the catalyst? What's the thing that occurred that caused them to cut a hole in the fence, go through there, and murder 1,700 people? What was the catalyst? There is no catalyst. It's this ongoing thing. But October 7th is a clear catalyst for the reaction of Israel. At this point forward, it's defensive until it's not. Like, it's just that simple. Take all the religion out of it. Like, it's just that fucking simple. Take the under guy part out of it. It just, I don't think about fucking understand it.
Mike, can you think about it? Can you imagine if this happened without a state of Israel? Can you imagine if there wasn't a state of Israel right now to reply to this nonsense and crap? There would be another.
That's what I'm talking about. Right. Like,
exactly.
What was the catalyst for September? What was the catalyst for the invasion of Afghanistan?
Think about it.
September 11th.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What was the catalyst for the invasion of Gaza? October 7th. Like, it's common. It's just in your fucking face. It drives me crazy.
The strategy of the Palestinians.
Daniel, I just want to say something real quickly. I'm just happy right now in the last after 2,000 years there is a state of Israel. Thank God a state of Israel exists to reply to this terrorism, to reply to this menace. Because can you imagine the world dealt with the Holocaust less than 80 years ago, and right now these same motherfuckers are trying to kill every Jew, every Israeli. They were shooting Jews for the sake of being Jews on October 7th. And right now, the state of Israel can reply. And I'm so thankful there is a state of Israel. Because without these clowns have always tried to kill Jews for 2,000 years. Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest form of hatred. It's just a vicious, fanatical hatred, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. But at least now, there's a defense against it. So every terrorist, every organization, every motherfucker that tries to kill Jews will get their time, and they will settle the score. And this is what makes me comfortable in knowing there is a state of Israel, and my taxes go to a good cause. I'd rather pay all these taxes for a good cause than these assholes, because can you imagine this October 7th happened with the state of Israel? Without a state of Israel, it would be another Auschwitz, 100%. And this is what these people want. They love the suffering of Jews, and fuck you. It's never going to happen again. Israel's going to respond. They're going to kill all your leaders. You can pray to whoever you want to pray to, and you can't stop it. They finally can defend themselves, and I'm grateful for that. Cheers, Daniel. That's what I want to say, bro.
The strategy of Hamas is to basically victimize the Palestinians, because this is the narrative that works. When Hamas launched the attack on 7th of October, it wasn't about, they didn't go to the prisons to release prisoners. They didn't go to, ran away to, hide and, break out of the prison. No, they went in to all the communities that were around Gaza to slaughter people and take them hostage back to their prison. They knew, people may not know how Israel reacted when we had 1 hostage or 3 hostages. We don't like it, okay? And any country should not like it. So when you take 254 hostages and when you kill more than 1,200 people, of course there will be a reaction. And Hamas knew it. Hamas wanted it. Those dead children that people come here every day crying about, this is exactly what Hamas wants, and it works. The more Palestinian children are dead, the more the IDF is defamed, and the more the so-called pro-Palestinian cause gains momentum. Israel has zero incentive to kill any innocent child. Zero. Who gains from this? Hamas. And who are they using? The useful idiots. Some of them are in this room right now. They can probably come and say, but you're killing children. No, we're not killing children. Hamas wants children dead. According to Hamas, by the way, 80% 90% of those casualties that we have are Hamas members and their families. They know, and you can hear it in their own voices, they know that a picture of one dead child that will circulate around the news will make a huge impact in both ways, defaming the IDF and gaining support, because people love victims. You know, all the American movies, you always root for the underdog. This is the mentality. Root for the underdog, no matter what. So if you want children to stop dying, I don't believe any of them. I don't believe any of them. Here, vegan probably is one of them. If any of them wants children to stop dying, what I suggest you do, take a paper, write on it, surrender, release the hostages, go out to the street and raise that flag. They are the only one that can stop it. And I will ask Vegan what I asked yesterday. There was a Palestinian girl here, and we asked her a question. I told her, you have a button in front of you. Once you press it, immediately, no more death in Gaza. No child, no woman, no journalist stops dying. But it also means that Israel wins and Hamas disarms. Do you press the button? She said no.
Well, I just said that to the guy just a little bit ago, Daniel. I said to him, like, do you really actually believe that if Hamas just surrendered and put their weapons down and claimed their loss and took an L, that Israel would continue firing rockets at buildings in Gaza? And he said yes. If somebody believes that, then they're delusional. Like, your argument is null and void to somebody that believes that if they truly surrendered, that Israel would continue offensively taking out civilians on purpose. Like, that is ridiculous. The world wouldn't even allow it to occur, even if they wanted to, which they wouldn't.
That comes from anti-Semitism, because exactly, and I guarantee that there's one sentence that I hear a lot from pro-Palestinians, okay, when they kind of describe things, and it's what you said right now. It doesn't make sense. Like, how come Israel can do this but this happened? It doesn't make sense. This is what happened when you believe in lie. Things always contradict, always kind of don't make sense. This is what happens when you believe in a lie. Things don't make sense.
Can I make a point?
Sure, I saw that you put your hand down when I suggested to stop children dying, so I understand that you're supporting the killing of children, right?
No. See, the thing is, first of all, the vegans all over the world, we are against all forms of violence, terrorism. We are against war in principle. We do not support it. We are non-violent. Sorry?
Did you go on a demonstration?
I am an anti-war person. Will you allow me to make my point?
Sure, go ahead.
See, the thing is, first of all, let me clarify before only that I don't support any kind of terrorism or the terrorist activities by Hamas, Hezbollah, or any of the terrorist organizations. But the thing is, so every country has a right to defend themselves from an attack. Nobody is taking away that right from you. So if any country, even in my country, if somebody attacks us, then our military, they have a right to defend the citizens from the attacks. But but then it doesn't give them the right to invade the other country and to massacre the common civilians of that country. In a war, you have to follow certain principles. The war which happens, it happens between two armies. The armies, they can fight between themselves, but you use the war as an excuse to murder, massacre, and brutally commit the genocide of millions of Palestinian people, which is a shame on humanity.
Okay,
and
vegan, stop. Hold on, because that is propaganda. Millions of people slaughtering. I don't know what TV channel you're watching, dude, okay? But first of all, there are a total of 2 million people in Gaza. And breaking news, there are more people in Gaza today than there were on 7th of October. All right? 8,000 people more.
You notice how he stopped speaking? What kind of genocides happen when the population grows? Vegan.
Not only this, I never heard of people that being genocided that at any point can say, enough, we surrender. What's genocide? People in the Holocaust, could the Jews in the Holocaust say, okay, we surrender, we give back your Nazi hostages? No. The people in Yemen have a chance? No. But the Palestinians can end it tomorrow. But when I asked even a Palestinian yesterday, whoever was here, and I told her, do you want it to stop? She said no. Because it's more important for her to keep Hamas than for the children. So this is why I don't believe her when she comes every day and says, oh, the children. Today she was like, a journalist died. You know who the journalist that she was talking about? A guy called Ismail El-Ul. He was a Nukhba terrorist, part of Hamas. Literally, there's like a documentation from Hamas with his name. But he's a journalist. So those people don't really care for the journalists. They actually give impunity to Hamas to use them. Today I saw another room. Israel attacked, 28 Palestinians died in a school. Now, 28 Palestinians? Hold on. Don't we discriminate between civilians and militants anymore? And what schools? There's no schools in Gaza. And they don't ask a question. And when we hear the word school, what do we think? We think of ourselves. You know, a teacher, a few students learning, 6-year-olds. No. They're literally telling Hamas, use schools, use hospitals, whatever. Because when you do it, we will protect you and we will go and defend the IDF.
When was the last time school was inspected in Gaza?
A year ago.
So the schools are buildings that are filled with people that are not children.
I know, I mean, but this is what I asked the guy that opened the room. Like, why did you open the room? He's like, because, you know, people are dying in Gaza. I said, that's not news. People are dying every day. Why did you write 28 people died, Palestinians died in a school? He's like, you know, because it's breaking news. I'm like, and I want to keep people up to date. I said, but yesterday, 55 people died in Gaza. Why only those 28? Because it was in a school. And do you think schools are in session? No. Who are those? How old are they? Did they have a gun? They don't know. They want us to discriminate between militants and civilians, but they don't. Guys, we are more than a year into this war, and the Palestinians didn't even publish once the breakdown between militants and civilians in these 42,000 people. Not even once. And they're not asking for it. They're asking the IDF, you should discriminate between civilians and militants. What about you guys? Why do you say Palestinians? Do we need to say, are all Palestinians the same? If so, why are you coming to us with complaints? Why don't you differentiate between civilians and militants? Because the narrative is more important than the lives of the Palestinians. That is sick, twisted, I know, wicked even, but this is the reality. And some people, mostly in the West, just don't get it.
In the audience, one conversation.
Do me a personal favor, Yaakov, and do something with your mic.
I'm in my car. Did I get rid of my car?
Okay. I can get the IDF to do it for you if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't have a beeper.
All right, so just know that you are a bit crumbled, okay? Just,
I'll be quiet then.
Okay. No, you can speak, but just know that. Yeah. Is there any pro-Palestinian here that wants to the death of children, that cares for the death for the children in Gaza, that wants to come and speak about it? I would like to know if those people that really care for the children in Gaza ever went outside to the street and demonstrated against Hamas. Enid, Betty, come on stage. It's very easy to be a keyboard warrior. Come, prove that you are supporting the killing of children. it's so sad, you know. That, I'm sorry that like at anyone wants to speak, then speak. I just don't want to keep it quiet. But I think it's really sad because at the end, the only people that actually care for the Palestinians are the Israelis. All those so-called pro-Palestinians, they care more for the cause than for the people. And the cause is Hamas. And Hamas is brutally abusing the Palestinian people. And those people are supporting the abusers and the oppressors of the Palestinian people. You will have to face them one day when this will be over. You that gave impunity to Hamas, you will have to live with yourself, not me. The blood of those children are on the pro-Palis in the universities, all those useful idiots.
It's always the ones, Daniel, I have to say, it's always the ones from other countries. And when I talk to them in real life, that's always the most stupidest people. It's always like, yeah, the children in Gaza. I'm like, nothing would happen to anybody in Gaza if we'd leave the Israelis alone. There was a partition, 7 other peace plans after that. They should have taken one of the 7 peace plans and nothing ever would have happened. What do you expect Israel is going to do after you rape their women, you kidnap their children, you murder their elderly, you murder their babies? Because here Bibas turned 2 in a fucking tunnel in Gaza. Baby Bibas.
He could be speaking Arabic.
I don't like it. I understand Arabic. I don't like speaking Arabic. It makes it sick to my stomach. Sad to the niggas. That language just makes my stomach feel sick.
I invited to the stage some useful idiot I saw in the chats. I want to see if they are cowards or just keyboard warriors.
We need a better term. It's really uninformed. I don't want to. Idiot is implies an inability to think.
Okay, so ignorance maybe? Useful ignorance?
Yeah, I think it's a mean.
Okay, I get it. I don't want to.
You want to engage. The people you want to engage, I think we should respect.
I'm with you, Yaakov. Okay, but so let's find it. Like, okay, they're useful, but they're useful for the propaganda. But it's they are being used. I mean, they are being emotionally extorted.
They're manipulated. They're being manipulated. They're uninformed. They're being manipulated and they're uninformed. I don't know how to put those two together into a nice story. Usefulity is nice and cute, but we got to work on it. We got to, workshop that a little bit.
I'm with you. I get it because maybe useful idiot might be true, but it might create like people kind of on the defense.
Whenever we say it creates a knee-jerk reaction. We can always engage in a positive way, and then talk to the facts, not get their emotions up right away.
I understand. Like, we can agree that like it's true, but we need to find something that is maybe less provocative.
I completely agree on the sentiment, but the way it's used needs to change.
So try to do it very.
You need to look up what useful idiot is. It's a historical term. It's not just something we just made up. It's
you're right, Wallace. You are right.
Inertia, hold on. Inertia is a terrible excuse for the continued use of something. I'm well aware of the historic. Yeah.
No, sorry.
It's a perfect definition or description, though, of what
you are right, Wallace. You are right, but what it creates is if we want to engage in conversation, they might feel that we are calling them like idiots. Like I'm cursing them. Like
some of them are college educated. Well, if that means anything anymore. I just think we need a better term. I get the context with which that term was created. There has to be a better way. That's all I'm saying. Everything can be improved.
Just so they will not be on the defensive or feel that they're being attacked.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Before they engage, it's like when you're at the butcher and he gives you something. Instead of saying, no, I want the other one, and the butcher gets upset, you say, look, I know it's going to sound really crazy of me, but can I have that other piece over there? You're more likely to get the other piece when you say it that way. You just sort of demand something, and, it creates instant animosity, and that's all I want to prevent. And you can engage people. Like, what was amazing this morning was hearing that guy Resistance really talking to having a debate as opposed to saying liar.
Right, but I was also shocked. I had to tell him, like, listen, Resistance, this is the first time that I actually can have a conversation with you, that we actually talk, that you just scream and curse me, and everything that I say, you say, lie. It was amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
It lasted for 15 minutes, but it was still a progress, I think. So, Yaakov, if you have idea, I mean, English is your language more than mine. If you have like something that would be accurate but not offensive, then yeah, I would change. I would not use it gladly. I do want to have a conversation, and as accurate as it might be, I do understand the sentiment that it might cause people. So I invite people that are, you know what? I invite pro-Palestinians to come here and tell me if they care about the children and what did they do about that. And if they went out and demonstrate and called, for example, for Hamas to surrender and end it tomorrow. No, I guess it's easier to be in the chat. Hello, G. You guys want me to sing?
I don't know if I have a signal. What's the? I guess what you're saying, or what Yaakov is saying, is that you don't want people to disengage. So, referring to them as an idiot is a bad thing. But I don't know. I think that reflexively not using a term that everyone understands because it has the word idiot in it is somehow reducing the amount of friction that should occur in these circumstances, because people shouldn't be embraced by people shouldn't be like welcomed into a warm bathtub of acceptance when they're being idiots. Like, they should understand that. You may not get through to them on this conversation, but frankly, if that's what they're being, they have the right to hear that from someone's mouth that's credible enough to say it. I guess is what
I get it. I understand it. You know, it's just a comment.
No, I hear your point of view too. I'm just saying that, I don't know, sometimes I think that we coddle people to the point that it's so easy for them to be useful idiots, and maybe given the opportunity to understand how they're perceived, they might actually want to do something about it. But I don't disagree with you. It's just that, I don't know, I think we owe our interlocutors a little more honesty. But you're right, it does push them away because a lot of them are very...
Yeah, you know, it's almost... I mean, there's a difference between being smart and being uninformed. You know, it's almost like there's unilateral knowledge. They have knowledge on one side, and they keep to the points that they're knowledgeable about, or they think they're knowledgeable about. But they haven't done the same sort of effort on the other side of the equation to be able to understand how someone else's point of view. It's really very unilateral.
I just said, I honestly, the people who are here in the chat are not, I mean, they're not hearing, but that's part of understanding that they're here to just accuse and they want your apology. They'd like your existence wiped off the map. I don't think any amount of, and I just said it, any amount of flowers or coddling is going to change this death cult's mind. Now, does that work on the streets in your community, in your neighborhood? Maybe. here on this app and these morons in the chat, no, they've decided. In fact, they've been bathed in it since birth. So, I mean, they wish you dead. They honestly wish you dead. In fact, the guy in the chat just said it. We're coming for you. I mean, they're not like, oh, I don't understand. Help me understand. No, they want you dead.
A keyboard warrior that writes, I'm coming for you, and doesn't even have the balls to come and talk, I'm not really afraid of him, okay? They are very, probably sitting in a basement somewhere writing like those things. I'm not scared of them.
No, don't be scared. But also, I don't think you need to placate people that literally want you removed from the planet.
Yeah, but some useful idiots are literally useful idiots. They actually being exploited. You know, imagine you, I don't know, you were living, I don't know, in somewhere in Europe, and you don't know any Jews, you don't know any Muslims, but you hear about this genocide, and you see the pictures of babies, and you're like, oh my God, this has to, like, you know, and then you see everybody chanting ceasefire now, yada, free Tibet and free Palestine. It sounds like, if you don't know anything, you're like, free Palestine. I mean, what could be bad about it? It sounds so wholesome. You know, it sounds so like, how could you be against something that is like free someone? So if you are not informed that there's like this big movement, you just go along and, you know, you see women and like you see a photo of a child, another child, you know, over and over and over the same pictures. Sometimes it's from Syria, sometimes it's from last year, sometimes it's from 5 years. It doesn't matter. But it even if you are like, well, I usually think that those people, their heart is in the right place, but not their mind. And I'm not saying that they are stupid, that they are just...
You might give them too much credit. And the reason I say that is because...
No, not all of them. I said that there are also those.
Yes. But I think, and again, the credit you give, I think, is to, again, my neighbor or maybe a coworker who doesn't know. These people in the chat and who we run into here, they have been told. They have been given a year that they've been bitching about this to actually do the work, right? To actually do the work, find out the history, and do the work. I don't live in a place where there are a lot of Jewish people. I'm going to be very frank about that. I myself am not Jewish. But I do have a mind that is a bit curious. And I do understand that the region has actually been colonized by radical Muslims that surround Israel. That did not take rocket science to figure that out. Now, I don't know if these people are just stupid, willfully ignorant, or the latter, which I tend to think these are people that have been bathed in hate since birth. I really do. I think it's baked in the cake for a lot of them that are on this app promoting hate.
I like your point about the Arab conquering. Whenever I've thought about that for a long time. Like, you can't really claim to be the indigenous folk if the dude that Saudi Arabia and Iran conquered the territory.
I agree with the comment as well, especially about the bathed in hate thing, because to be honest with you, if you're indifferent, if you're not Jewish and you don't live in that area and you're indifferent to the religious aspects of all of the Zionism and all that stuff, then the facts speak for themselves by looking at a map. That common sense. Like, there is no question when you look at a map that Israel is in peril if you are indifferent to the entire thing. And then when you look at October 7th, God forbid you watch the documentary, We Will Sing Again, or We Will Dance Again, and you see the reality of that day in all the footage. Again, common sense. That's no question about it. That is not a military response to some existing, situation on the ground. That is an actual terrorist attack. That's how terrorists act. That's why they do what they do, and that's how they do it. So again, unless you're grown up to hate Jews for some reason, I come back to common sense. I don't get how you can be pro-Palestinian and also be common sense.
Makes no sense. It just doesn't work.
Mike, I think I'm not sure that it's so common, that sense. And that is, I think, the problem. And again, I think they are misinformed. And people don't really have critical thinking skills. And part of the tactic is this overflow of information. And no one can fact check so fast. Telling a lie is very easy. Look, there are 170,000 children dead in Gaza. Easy. Now, in order to tell you exactly how many children died in Gaza, it will take time. I need to, even if it's reported, I will need to go into the UN website and go to the dashboard and see the up-to-date, and then I will be able to say, okay, there are 11,355 minors that died in Gaza. That takes time and money. To tell a lie, easy. Here, 250,000 just died. So. Any pro-Palestinian that would like to come and chat? Or more comfortable in the...
No, there's just a guy who only knows how to use the middle finger. Deep thoughts by that guy. Deep thoughts.
There is a report from Iran that Kahani, which is head of the Al-Quds force, was arrested and interrogated, and then he got a heart attack on suspicion that he had ties to Israel. I thought that he was actually killed with Nasser, with Hezbollah, but maybe they're trying to kind of minimize his death and kind of, I don't know. It's very interesting. Yeah, but that's a different topic.
Many
it doesn't mean that there is all these people crying there and not having anywhere to be. No, they moved there. And so it's a normal city with normal people from the country, and they're living there. Now, is it okay to bomb them or not? Now, that's another question. Then I will pass it back to Daniel. Daniel, why are they getting bombed in these places?
First of all, in this place,
By
they
the
were
way,
not.
for you to know, Daniel is IDF and he's from Israel, so he knows a lot. I mean, he's got like first-hand information. But
Yeah, I mean,
go
he's
ahead.
bombing right now.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, I gave the example of Nusayrat because this is where we actually went on the foot, because this is what Amir said, that if we would not be bombing and go by foot, there would be less casualties. So I gave the example of the event that happened in Nusayrat camp, where 240 casualties happened. And Nusayrat camp, there was a census in 1931 that they had like 1,100 people. 1931. Can you explain to me, seriously, Amir, where are the refugees from where? This is what I'm trying to understand. What makes them refugees? And how could it be that some people in Gaza are refugees and others are not? Why a specific building is if I move there, I become a refugee and others are not? You need to understand the definition of refugee is, there are two definitions. One, as we all know it, and one that is specifically and only for the Palestinians. We use the same word, but it's completely two different definitions. Why are you putting this face?
Because
you think it's an opinion?
No,
I know it doesn't make sense, but Amir, it's not about making sense. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you will check with the UN, they have two agencies of refugees, okay? One for all the refugees in the world with one definition, and another UN agency called UNRWA that is only specifically and primarily just for Palestinians. And they have a different definition. It's not me. I know it doesn't make sense. I think it does this service for the Palestinians. But when we talk about it, we need to understand that the word, we use the same word, but refugee and Palestinian refugee is not the same thing.
And
it's not about me.
Sorry, Isa, let Daniel define both of them.
No, hold on. But I'm just gonna. Okay, you can define them, but this is just to bring awareness that they're actually manipulating the public opinion through redefinitions, And I was just gonna make the comment that in the Olympics, actually you saw two different delegations. You had the refugee delegation, which is, as Daniel was saying, every refugee around the world, and then they had separately an UNRWA delegation only for Palestinians. So they don't mix them. Why? Who knows? Ask the UN.
It's part of the struggle.
Daniel, explain now what is a Palestinian refugee and what's
for example, any
the
refugee
average definition of a refugee, please.
First of all, you can look it up, okay? So you don't need to believe me. But for example,
no, it's not about believing. I just want you to find them because you kind of alienize the Palestinian refugees. But please,
again, you are blaming me.
I'm not
for giving you facts. You're saying that I'm trying. You literally just said now that I'm trying to alienize them, right?
I didn't say you're trying. I said you did.
But why me? Because I'm giving you the facts. So this is 1 second. So this is why I say go and check it yourself, and then tell the UN that they are doing this. The fact that I'm giving you the information, it's not me. It's not even an opinion, my friend. Go check it. There are two agencies.
Define them.
But why? But I think that you are still thinking that it's an opinion based.
No, I will check it as well. Just define them.
Okay.
I really want to know what's the definition.
So for example, if
of an average refugee.
Okay, so if you are a refugee from Sudan, okay, and you went to the United States, okay, then you become, after a while, a citizen of the United States or not. But if you have kids, for example, they would be US citizens, okay? Or if you go to, I don't know, if you are a refugee from Syria and you move to Berlin and you have kids, your kids will become Germans. They are not refugees anymore. For Palestinians, that's not the case. For Palestinians, Bella Hadid, for example, is a refugee. Okay, why? Because her grandfather was a refugee. Do you think Bella Hadid is a poor Palestinian person, a refugee in a camp? No, she's a fucking millionaire. She was born in the United States. There are many refugees, Palestinians, that inherited the title. And only the Palestinians can inherit the title
And why
of
is that?
refugee.
Because they can take the status back and they'll be Palestinian when there's a government.
They think whatever.
It is
because
almost
they
like
wanna,
a nationality.
Yes, it's a
instead of
refugee.
status.
So they can.
Hold on. Before we do this, so Ramil, do you first of all understand that there are two different
No, you didn't
definitions?
define them. You gave an example. When you give an example,
No.
define them.
So I give you the Palestinian refugee can pass it from generation to generation. Other refugees cannot. Okay.
Yeah, because they can.
So meaning, I will give you a different definition. A refugee is someone that was refugee from a country. A Palestinian is a descendant of a refugee. That is the difference.
Okay.
Meaning the Palestinians are not really refugees, they are descendants or grand descendants of refugees.
Do you want me
Now
to
understand the
define
difference.
it?
Maybe now we understood the difference.
No,
Between
anyone
being a
who understands
refugee,
the difference, please come up and explain it one more time.
I'm trying
Okay,
again.
so
Isa, let me try one last time. A regular refugee is someone that actually fled the country. A Palestinian refugee is the son or grandson or great-great-son of a refugee. That is the difference. They are not real refugees. They inherit the title. Do you now understand the difference between actually being a refugee and being third generation of a refugee? Because if it's the same, then we are all refugees. I'm a refugee. You understand the difference between being a refugee and being a descendant of a refugee? Amir?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's the difference.
There are two different things.
Exactly,
Palestinians have
thank you.
that title, Daniel. Palestinians have that title because they believe that they will have a country one day. And
Who
they can
cares?
take their status back. Just
But
a
it doesn't matter. I don't care about
Just a
why.
second. Just a second. I don't
no,
care if
before
you
you,
care. I do not care.
before you move on,
I'm
do
telling
you
you the
understand the difference?
Because they
Before we move on, do you understand the difference that it's not the same thing?
No.
Because that was the point that we
And
discussed.
I don't
So
think
let's
anyone
be-
else does with the way you explained it.
Okay, so Isa, you try. Before, no,
Well,
I don't
okay,
want to
so
move on.
I am going to read the specific definition as it's stated at the UN. So there are two. One is the UNHCR, which is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and the other one is UNRWA, who is the Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East. So the definition for the standard refugees, it says that it's defined in 1951 UN Refugee Convention and is someone who has fled their home country due to a well-founded fear of persecution based on race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. The jurisdiction, it says that these refugees fall under the protection of the UN, which is responsible for all refugees globally, except for Palestinian refugees. Now, key rights and services. So the services provided are protection, assistance, and it seeks durable solutions for refugees, including resettlement into another country, voluntary repatriation to their home country, or local integration in the host country. Now, generational status. The refugee status is not inherited. Refugee children born in a host country do not automatically gain refugee status. Instead, they are eligible for nationality. Now, UNRWA, this is the Palestinian ones, the Palestinian refugees. The definition is, Palestinian refugees are defined by UNRWA as those who were displaced during the 1948 Arab-Israeli conflict and their descendants. This includes those who lived in Palestine before June 1946 and May 1948, lost both their homes and means of livelihood and their descendants. The jurisdiction. UNRWA was specifically created to assist Palestinian refugees in 5 areas: the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. these refugees do not fall under the standard refugee mandate. The key rights and the services, it says that UNRWA provides humanitarian assistance, education, healthcare, social services, and infrastructure support to Palestinian refugees. Unlike the standard refugees, it does not seek long-term solutions, such as resettlement. Its mandate is to provide assistance until a political solution is reached, whatever that political solution. The generational status. So unlike the standard refugees, the Palestinian refugee status is passed down through generations, which is what Daniel was explaining. This means descendants of the original 1948 refugees continue to be considered refugees by UNRWA, regardless of whether they have acquired citizenship in another country or they are wealthy. Now, the key differences in summary: jurisdiction, standard refugees everywhere else in the world, UNRWA just specifically Palestinian. Definitions, refugees are individuals displaced, that whatever. Generational status, the standard refugees do not pass the refugee status. The UNRWA refugees inherit the status. And the scope of service in the standard refugees provides a range of services and seeks permanent solutions, while in the UNRWA, the Palestinian one, it focuses on short-term assistance depending on conflicts and does not actively resettle refugees. So that is the difference between the two of them, and therefore when we just use the word refugee without knowing what type of refugee we're talking about, that's what causes the confusion, because people think that they're actually, being displaced, or there are these little poor people that need to be taken care of and put into a third country or whatever.
It doesn't really make sense.
That they're being persecuted, which they are not, by the way. That's what I want to
It doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, UNRWA is, in effect, furthering the conflict, you're saying.
UNRWA is what?
Furthering the conflict. They're saying we are not trying to settle these people as members of either Jordan or Egypt. We are giving them short-term solutions while they
Correct.
wait there.
It's like they're giving them charity while they're waiting.
Yeah.
For decades. Because they want to keep this Palestinian, they're using the Palestinian to keep this conflict alive. And the Palestinians are paying the price for it. But that is like another topic. The problem is that the word is the same word. And people, I guess like Amir, I can understand why the confusion, because it's the same word. Most people don't understand.
Refugees.
They're not.
The vulnerable people who are refugees, exactly, yes.
So tell me, Bella Hadid is a refugee?
I don't fucking care. Bella Hadid is living in the...
I care. I want you to...
Yeah, we do care because
listen,
she's
having
I'm not impressed by you saying fucking...
Daniel,
but she's a refugee. You understand this?
Using Bella Hadid's situation, that fucking bitch who is living in New York having millions of money.
Amir, but that is to show you the absurdity of the term that they're using for the guys in Gaza.
Amiga,
because again,
just a second. Just a moment. So using her to defend bombing.
No, forget about the bombing. Enough with that.
No, the original discussion. Why?
No. Oh my God. Listen, you need to.
As I was saying before,
because you're trying to you do not accept facts. You're trying to justify.
Daniel, hold on. Amir, we can talk about the bombing. We can talk about the bombing if you want, but first we need to.
That was the original discussion.
Hold on. We need to go step by step. We need to go step by step. First of all, we need to clarify that we're not talking about refugees, and the only reason why we're talking about refugees is because you were the one bringing up that word, and we're explaining to you that it's not the same. It's not what they're trying.
They are refugees. They are vulnerable people living in desperate situation.
Okay, so is this girl a vulnerable person?
Which one?
What was the name? The Caliph?
Bella Hadid.
Does she live in a refugee camp in Gaza or in
No,
Palestine?
but she is a refugee.
So we're not talking about her. Do not bring her that bitch.
No, she is a refugee. Do you understand?
Does she live in an area controlled by UN?
Just
So let me ask you this,
like
okay?
her, there are a lot of
bring her into
people living in
Amir,
Gaza
Amir.
just like her.
Amir, what is the difference between a person that was born like 15 years ago in Nusayrat camp and a man that was born like, I don't know, 50 meters away from him? I mean, they live under the same conditions. Why is one called a refugee and another is not? Can you explain to me?
Can you name these two people? I do not know who you exactly.
It's not a name. Again, one lives in a place called
I don't know.
Nusayrat.
Just bring me a factual discussion then. Do not
I'm
bring
giving you.
examples that you do not know who they are.
No, listen. Hello, Amir, again. What is the difference? But Amir, okay, so the people that live in Deir el-Balach, okay, which is in Gaza, and it's not a refugee camp, are their situation different than the people that live in the refugee camp in Nusayrat, 100 meters away from them?
It's
Exactly.
Guys,
Thank you.
Double refugee.
Thank you. Makes it less. Hold on. So
Probably similar.
exactly. So do you understand that it means nothing?
In that situation, yes, they're all vulnerable people who are desperate.
Exactly. So the word refugee means nothing. My point to you is
Okay. You're funny.
Well, I'm glad we got here.
Two, like
I feel like we've
worse and the worst to each other.
listen, Amir. Where are you from? Amir, where are you from? Are you American?
No. He sounds
Right.
like the UK. To each other.
I was born in Iran, yeah.
And you're educated, right? I'm not sure why you're laughing.
I don't know. No, I'm not educated. I have diploma in, I don't know.
So let me try and do it slowly, okay?
Yeah, please. I'm really slow.
Right. The refugee camp in Nusayrat camp, like Nusayrat refugee camp, okay? Can you explain to me what is the difference between the people living in Nusayrat refugee camp to those that live in Deir el-Balach in Gaza?
They probably get some help from the UNRWA.
No, they all get help from UNRWA.
Okay, so there's no difference. They're all poor people in bad condition.
Okay, so can we agree that the word refugee camp doesn't mean anything? Or we are still don't get that it...
Yeah, you want to say that whole Gaza is almost a refugee camp? Yes, I agree with you.
No, okay. You know, I don't know if you're an idiot or you're playing one.
Then what's your point comparing these two situations?
That people like you that, you know, are confronted with facts, are fighting with facts, and I think it's idiotic. And if you have a diploma, I don't know if they taught you critical thinking. You can have your own opinion.
No,
but if I tell you
critical thing, I even do not know what that means. But tell me, why are you comparing these two situations? To tell that they're having a better life or worse life? I don't get you.
No, and that's the reason, because you're just focused on your own conversation in your head. We're just telling you that when you're using the word refugee camp is not other than just trying to manipulate the emotions of the people that are listening to this sentence.
No, it's not emotional.
The reason hold on, Amir, I'm not saying you are the emotional one. I'm trying to say that these words have a reason to exist, and they use it so that people that are not living in the region, they are confused and they think, oh, refugee camp, that must be something special. In that area, in Gaza specifically, it's not anything special. It's the same, having a little a city and next to a refugee camp. Both of them are exactly the same. Both of them are getting help. Both of them have normal people. Both of them are in the exact same conditions. The reason why they put and they name these words of refugee camp is to cause an effect on the people that are receiving the information to think of these people just as pure victims, and that's it.
Many of them are victims, yes. Doesn't change the
But
fact.
they are not refugees. That is the point, okay? The word is being abused, and I think that people like you that don't acknowledge the difference do a disservice for real refugees that actually fled persecution. Those people that live in Nusayrat camp were born there. They didn't fled nothing. They're exactly the same people as living in Deir el-Balach. The word refugee, like the word school, is meant to evoke emotion. So people are have this empathy and are like, oh my God, they are victims. But this is why I gave you the example of Bella Hadid, okay? The fact that someone is labeled refugee when they are Palestinian, it's not the same as a regular refugee. That is the point. Regular refugees are actually people that are being prosecuted. They had to flee their land. They need help in resettlements. The people that are called Palestinian refugees are not. They were born and they inherited the title. If we apply the same rule to everyone, then my friend, I'm also a refugee. Same as most Israelis. And also Isa, and maybe even you. And if we make everybody refugee, then no one is refugee. And this is the problem. You understand? Because refugees do need help. And Palestinians, the refugees, they need help because of something else, not because they are refugees. That is the point.
And that is the thing as well. The same example that Daniel gave you with a school, the same example Daniel gave you with a school, when we hear about, oh, a school was bombed, I mean, we're talking a year into the war. Kids are not going to schools. Those are just empty buildings, you know? So, but they want to use the word school so that you can imagine all these little children in the middle of a math class, and all of a sudden there's a bomb that blows them away. And that is not how things happen. So these buildings are empty and they're being used as bases. And so, yeah, they get bombed, schools and hospitals and other places, but it doesn't mean that they have got little children there or all the patients there. These are empty buildings that are being used as bases or as storage places for weapons.
Yeah,
it's manipulation.
Just to clarify, can you share the info that it says the buildings were empty when it was bombed?
It's very easy, Amir. You can see many reports from Palestinians that say, Amir, shut the fuck up when I speak.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up, enough.
No, you shut.
Okay, check.
Daniel, you've been talking for half an hour. How much do you want to yap? You keep yapping.
Amir, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to answer you, okay? And you are supposed to be an intelligent person as you present yourself.
I was talking to Isa. How long do you...
I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up.
10 minutes.
I will talk in 5 more. And now only I will speak, okay, Amir? So now I want to reply to you.
Keep yapping. Go ahead.
Go fuck yourself and go check when was the last time that Gaza had schools. They say themselves that school didn't start for the second year in a row. So use your little brain and tell me, if school is not in session for 2 fucking years, how could there be school in session, you ignorant fuck?
Okay, are you done?
Right. And also,
No, I want you to reply to me. I want hold on, Isa. Hold on, Isa. I want him to reply. Can you tell me if there's no school in session for 2 years? Why do you need a proof?
Can you close your mic now, please? You've been talking non-stop. If you shut.
Thank you. All right, he's gone. Oh no,
I removed him because he doesn't know how to behave. I'm sorry. He will not tell me to shut the fuck up, and if he asks a question, I will answer him.
Another thing you can easily do is just check when the news are being told of the schools being bombed, and usually it's at midnight or at 2 a.m. or at 3 a.m. or something like that. So it's not like kids are in the middle of a math class at 3 a.m.
The thing is that people are being manipulated, and also people like Amir, and I guess it's really hard to understand that you've been manipulated. This is why he's fighting so hard. And when I give him facts that he can check, I'm sure that if he's into the topic, he knows that the Palestinians are complaining that this is the second year in a row that they don't have school. And then he wants you to prove to him that the school was not used by children. You know what? You go and prove that there is school in session for the last 2 years. My God,
Are you done yapping now, Daniel? For 10 minutes.
You're moving. No. If you don't know how to be respectful, No, listen, Isa, with all due respect, he will not come on stage and tell me if I'm done yapping. I'm trying to educate him. If he don't want to be educated and he calls it yapping, he can go fuck himself in the audience or can go to another room. I don't need this just to speak. I'm using my breath and my energy to talk sense to him, and it's not about even my opinion. Amir, go and check when there was the last time there was a school in session and come back, and then you can start yapping. And if you don't know how to be respectful, stay in the fucking audience. And if you do want to come on stage, be respectful and use your mind. That's it. I'm not asking, I don't ask too much.
Daniel, you've been nominated for a Nobel Prize in yapping.
Right?
Yeah, look at
Who
that.
got the Nobel Prize?
Yeah, someone nominated you, Daniel.
Who?
Who got the Nobel Peace Prize?
No, a separate Nobel Prize for yapping. Where was it? Amir RZ.
Really
That's the guy who's
okay.
talking to.
Fictionalists.
Daniel, can you please send me on Telegram the 2 photos that you had of the so-called journalist?
So
I put the link in the, hold on, I put it also here.
Yeah, I know, but it's just that Nora is texting me on the Telegram and she's saying, she just texted me right now. He didn't post the same guy, dude. I just haven't engaged in it yet. He's lying.
Liar.
I just put a link in the chat. Hi everyone. I put a link in the chat. Hi, I'm excited. I don't know if anyone saw this. It's in the chat. It's the soldiers. Well, they're not soldiers. Palestinians pretending that they've been injured, and the mother went and they're showing the guy taking off his bandages in the hospital. Did you see this?
Well, I'm sorry, can you repeat?
What is this? I'm looking at it. It says a Palestinian mom saw pictures of her injured son online, and she got really worried and rushed to the hospital, only to find out the blood is fake and he's just fine.
Yeah, and look at it. And it's actually a video.
Yeah, it's like Gaza Wood, but they're calling it here Pallywood, and her son is an actor.
Yeah. Stupid.
No, but it works. That's the thing. Like people like Princessa will share those videos.
This stupid can act exactly. Something this stupid can round up the mental midgets into a frenzy about genocide and people being wiped off the earth. This is enough to do it. Like, this is how stupid we are. This is the level of intellect we're working with.
And listen, like, I don't care when people come with different opinions. It's like, okay, we can all disagree and you can tell us, okay, so why are you guys bombing this? Okay, let's chat about it. It was because they found these weapons, or it was because they had that as an operation center, or it was just because it was for fun. Whatever it is, let's chat about it. But just like making a lot of assumptions is what it doesn't make sense. And we're trying to talk about, okay, let's analyze the language that the media is using, because clearly it's working. So if we're talking about the different definitions of the refugees, no, it's not to justify the deaths of people. It's just to see how we are being influenced by the narrative. Now that we get that out of the way, we can, okay, talk. So it's like, okay, this town full of so-called refugees, it was bombed. Why? Let's look at what was the bombing we're referring to. Is it because, I don't know, there were where the hostages were and they were rescuing them? Or was it because there were tunnels there? Or was it, like, let's try to find out. Or was it because they were throwing rockets from there? Like, what was the reason why Israel decided, or the IDF decided to enter that so-called refugee camp? And who died in that refugee camp? You're saying it was civilians. Okay, based on what? Let's see. So they were all, I don't know, male, or they were children. What are we calling children? Are we calling children 5 and 6 years old? Or are we calling children 17, 16, 15? Because those so-called children that are teenagers are already militants in many cases. So all of these type of conversations can be possible if we just try to make sense together out of it. It doesn't matter. You don't need to agree. You don't need to be on the side of Israel, but let's just make sense, because that's the problem. People are just getting infected with all these words, and they just start throwing them without making any intellectual exercise and without making any critical thinking. And that's when they just take the role of victims and start calling genocidal bombings or whatever, and it doesn't make sense.
I think it's even more twisted than this, because I saw, for example, a video of this, I don't know, like a child that is 3 years old, like being like, they were like doing CPR on them. And then I saw the same boy in 2 other videos, okay? It was a doll, okay? And the thing is that then all the I don't know, all those people, the pro-Palestinian, come and like getting outraged and they defame the IDF and they come here on fights and, you're yapping and all that. And what they're doing, they're literally telling Hamas, do more of this. The more you show us dead children, if it's real or not, it doesn't really matter, the more we will fight for you and for the cause. And those people are actually responsible for it. But they're telling us, a school was bombed, 28 Palestinians died. No one is asking like, a school? But there is no school. And when you say 28 Palestinians, are those civilians? Are they militants? What were their ages?
What were they doing in the school?
And what you imagine, but you only hear 28 Palestinians died in a school. Like if I would tell you, like there was a bombing in the United States, in a school, 28 Americans died. Obviously, you would imagine that those were 28 students that were in the school. But no, in Gaza it's different. Same with the refugee camp. And people are being manipulated with language. It's anti-Semitic.
The same thing with the children.
Yes.
Okay, so I just removed him, and I want to explain because sometimes you have to see these trolls. They don't care. He just started being rude to me in the chat. I'm telling him to calm down and explain his point in logically, and he's like, "Go drive your kids to school." Okay, so someone like that doesn't.
Please do not remove anyone else. That's the only thing I'm going to say.
That's fine. That's fine. But he's belligerent to me, and I was just trying to ask him what he was trying to say, and he started saying things in Farsi, so I removed him.
Well, I tried to
explain. Please do not remove anyone else.
I tried to explain to him, and he's like, "Did you finish yapping?" So I removed him to the audience because so he could chill down. And then we brought him back again, and the first thing they said,
He's not interested in chilling down.
All right, so he could stay in the I didn't mind that he would stay in the chat until he's ready.
Yeah, one last time. Please do not remove anyone else from the room.
So the manipulation of words, it actually works, and I get it why people are so resistant to hear the truth. Either they think, like, he was like, you alienating them. I said that there are 2 different definitions of refugees and Palestinians, and he blamed me for this, that I'm causing it, that I'm alienating them. No, dude, that's not me. I'm sharing with you, and you can go check. And then Isa went and she literally told him the differences between a regular refugee and a Palestinian refugee. Different definitions. And he didn't accept it. Because it's hard to feel like you've been manipulated. I get it. No one wants to feel dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, it was absurd. I mean, like, this is the thing, like, when people don't want to really engage into a conversation, and again, it's not about convincing them to be on the other side. It's just about, okay, let's talk about it. Tell me, with your critical thinking, why do you think what you think?
Jenny, I was trying to come up with a phrase to replace useful idiot. The closest thing I got is very inelegant, but unilateral commentators.
Again. How did you say what?
Unilateral commentators. They're commenting based on information from one side. They're not really looking into it, thinking, coming up with.
No, I don't think that's better.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get rid of the word idiot.
No, don't.
No. The problem is
politically correct. Yeah.
No, the problem is like we were in another room.
Nothing to do with politically correctness.
Isa, we were in another room, and I wanted to engage. I said if any of the useful idiots want to come on stage, and then Yaakov said that it might, like, and I get it, and he's right, that it alienates people. They think that I curse them, that I'm abusive, and we mean useful idiots for what they are. But if you are a useful idiot, what you hear is only the idiot, okay? And it's like me saying any of the idiots want to come and talk. This is what they hear, and they automatically kind of feel that okay, this is not I wouldn't call it a safe space. Or like that I'm cursing them, that it's kind of like a low level. So we're trying to find.
Calling them useful idiots is giving them too much credit. They're useless idiots.
That was Al's comment.
But they don't hear the first word. They just hear the idiot, and I get it. People that are idiots will hear the idiot. So we're trying to find a word that will convey the message that they are pawns or whatever, but that they will not that will not arouse objection automatically.
Hey, did it Agent Blackston?
He's not here.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Hey, Masri. Where have you been? We missed you.
Hello there.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was watching the whole fight.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was watching. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I miss you too. Thank you, Daniel. I always miss a good conversation, of course. Respectively.
It's never been unrespectful.
Yeah, never been unrespectful. Yeah.
I mentioned you yesterday just as an example. I thought, okay, there's a guy, Masri. He's very respectful. Because there was people we were talking about Islam. And people was like, no, they don't represent Islam. And I kind of mentioned you as someone they know. And I said, he's Masri. Like, no, the Egyptians. Like, no. His name is the Egyptian. It's not like I'm talking about. So your name also a bit confused him. But yeah, welcome back.
Well, thank you. At least you mean me, whatever my name is, and mentioning me as a good ideal or good example. It's really good think of you. Thank you so much, Dan.
Oh, always respectfully.
Let's meet on Rafah and hold hands.
Hopefully, you know what? I really hope one day. I really hope one day good people like you, Isa, and Yaakov will be responsible of your side. Maybe at that time and that time only, maybe a good change will happen and good change for all.
No.
You didn't want to be political. You said that it is corruption.
I want to meet in Sharm el Sheikh.
Hopefully, you're welcome anytime.
I would be worse, Masri.
What do you mean, hopefully? We can go today to Sharm el Sheikh.
I mean, hopefully, it's a good thing is that I would meet them. I'll meet you.
I would be worse if I was in charge, Masri. I would have ended this shit in 2-3 weeks.
Maybe
I would have, after October 7, I would have bombed the shit out of Gaza. And
not bomb the shit, but for example, and let's be kind of not emotional about it, okay? But saying, for example, we impose a total blockade on Gaza. No food, like they said at the beginning. No food, and then people are like, oh my God, you gotta starve the population. No, we're not. They can get food whenever they want. They just say, here are the hostages, bring us food. I would tell me now that we're 1 year after, at the beginning there was this Gallant said we will close this, and everybody were like, oh my God. Imagine that we actually did this, okay? Don't you think that it might have ended after a week and the Palestinians didn't have to lose the entire Gaza Strip? I think part of the problem is that we are not allowed to conduct a war, and all the efforts of the United States and the Western media and the UN actually make this war way longer than it should be. So I'm asking really, Masri, if we did on 8th of October what Gallant said back then, no food, no water, no aid, total blockade, nothing, until you release the hostages and surrender. And they would say, oh my God, population, how do you call it, punishment,
civilians are going to start.
Collective punishment, starvation. I'm like, no. At any point, and if there's a collective punishment, it's Hamas. And if they want to end it, they can end it in a week. Don't you think that it might have been more helpful than giving them aid for a year?
That's the story. That's the situation. That's the truth.
So if you pray, do you pray for the stock market to get good that day or what?
No.
Why?
Why would I?
So you can make money.
Well, I can make money without it going good. I make money.
So you can. So you saying you can make money without God?
Correct.
No, you should have God's help. You can make money.
Well, I don't need His help to make money.
Well,
I need His help to do. I need His help for a spiritual gain.
Well, that is spiritual gain because the more you make money, the more you can give it to others for spiritual gain.
But who told you I'm in it to give people? I'm in it to give myself, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're selfish.
Yes, I am. I am selfish.
Say it. Say it. I'm selfish, piece of shit. Say it.
I'm a selfish piece of shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Say it. Say it. I'm gay. Say that.
No, I'm not gay, but I am selfish. For example, let me show you.
I really don't think I care. I'm sleeping.
Oh, check my picture. Check my picture, motherfucker.
Hold on. Gotta get my phone. I was laying down.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Now you guys are dead, aren't you?
I fucking felt my damn phone fell. I need to go to sleep. Might beat my meeting, go to sleep.
It is about time for you to go to sleep, motherfucker. Go to sleep, bitch. Da, motherfucker, da.
You're on a Jew.
You guys still have my title.
Hey, Jew.
Don't take it bad.
Hey, Jew. I told him about your Jew nose.
We know about it. We've seen it. Motherfucker.
Hello, Jew. How are you? What you Jew today? You are Jew.
Zach, did you change the title?
I love you.
Yes.
I'll be back.
I did.
I knew it was you.
Oh,
Diego doesn't say the word deserve.
I should make that song. Hello, Jew. How are you? What you Jew? I love you. I'm a Jew. How you Jew? What we do? I love you. Let's go, Jew. What we do? 'Cause I'm a Jew. And I love to Jew. How are you? I love you. We are Jews. So let's go, Jew. Oh, I should make that song. Oh, that would be a hit right there. I think I could make that song. Let's go, Jew. What we Jew. Let's go, Jew. I want Jew. Give me your money so I can Jew. I got Jew. You got Jew. Let's go, Jew. Let's go, Jew. I got Jew. That made his Jew ass leave too. Actually, I need to make that song that says about Jews. Hello, Jew. Oh,
He will write him off. Actually, the will write all
This attitude's keeping India so far, but this whole like, I'm loyal to him because he's from here. I'm gonna vote for him because he's from here. He's from this caste. He's from this family. It's so stupid. What a way to evaluate someone. I mean, and you guys are very obsessed with Sunny. I gotta say that.
Hang on. No, wait.
Let me tell the story.
Wait.
Let me tell the
No.
story.
No. Wait, one second.
Let me give you some color. Just hold on 1 second. Give me 2 minutes. I'll tell you. You'll fucking laugh out loud. Listen to this. So these two faggots, Agent and Jason, were told by their boss, Razib Khan, these two fucking worms. Worms, right, Agent? You know you are. You know what I'm about to say.
Until I have to ask
These two, let me finish the story, Jason. You're not a mod. Don't step on me. I said 2-minute story. I said you and Agent were faggoty worms when you marched away from Sunny because you were told by Razib to defriend him, or you will be defriended. Now, I'll give you both the credit. You both came, spoke to the group in detail on your last talk. Remember your faggoty last talk, like the last romantic talk? Sunny, I'm sorry, Sunny. This is Jason. Sunny, I'm sorry, Sunny. But the decision's been made. All right?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's just called That's
No,
a very normal
that's a-
thing. Let me just
normal
explain.
thing.
Because
It's not
I
a
did the
normal
same.
thing.
They did the same to me,
It's never been
Evtol,
done
because
on
I
Clubhouse.
deserved it. No, Evtol, I deserved it
Ascetic
because
monk,
I.
ascetic monk. But you called him
Agent, do you know my real name, right? You know I'm the same guy who was the Terrence Tao student who used to hang out a lot with Razib, right?
Listen, I know you and ascetic monk were Razib's arch nemesis, but bottom line is, they were told to defriend Sunny because of ascetic.
No.
monks.
Ascetic Monk was the one who fed me information about Razib, but Ascetic Monk told me he was from Bangladesh. Ascetic Monk did not tell me he was from India. You're the one who found out Ascetic Monk
Ascetic
was from
monk's
India.
in the worst shape I ever seen.
No, but Ascetic Monk, he told
He's
me
a piece
he
of
was.
shit. Ascetic monks was a piece of shit. So
Ascetic
only after burning ascetic monk did these folks let Sunny back in.
No, I don't need to be let back in. I mean, if you put Razib Khan on stage, I'll sit and apologize to him, dude. It's sometimes we were just in a pandemic.
That's how much I like Sunny, is what I'm demonstrating, JR. Even when these goddamn conformists.
I think the word you're trying to say is simp. You think they're simping?
Or everything. Well, listen, it's all right though. It's Razib's high value to them. Sunny is an anonymous person. So
No, but why wouldn't Razib be high value objectively? First of all, he's a real person, just like Jason. So you could look him up. I was a real person.
I have a meeting with my boss now, but I love this.
Yeah, Razib was higher value than Sunny or any of us. So this is the worm's way. JR, are you listening carefully? Of the chicken's way and the chicken dance he just did out of here. Did you see how Agent Chicken danced his way into a work call?
Whatever drama unfolded years ago, look, I don't want to be part of any of these shit anymore. Man. It's too much toxicity. Look, very soon I'll go back to work. Hang on. No. So but I'm trying to create a nice club which is very supportive. And I think there's a lot we can do here, and that's all I want. I mean, I just want positive people.
Is Roger Rutgam banned right now or not?
No, he wants. JR wants to be a project manager, and that's fine. Did you say you want to be a project manager right now? That's fine.
It doesn't need to be banned, but at the same time, I cannot allow him up here, up on the stage. Second off, I don't want much drama here, man. Like, we can do like a 60% good rooms, and 60-40 is a good, like, troll 40%, okay, a little bit. I like trolling too, because I think serious rooms are also very boring. But yeah, a little bit of trolling is fine. And I want to, like, if there are some people, special people like Andrew, I don't want them to be, like, I don't want people to trigger these type of people.
I'm trying to be less triggered, JR, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I'll start learning.
Sunny doesn't try to trigger Andrew. Sunny likes
maybe
he triggers a lot of people, man. Come on.
No.
This fucking
Andrew, does Sunny trigger you? Come on, man.
He has tried, but I'll tell you how. You want to hear how? It's not important. Yeah. I was trying to tell JR something more.
Yeah, how is Sunny ever triggering to you?
So Sunny will try to emphasize, so this only makes sense, this kind of politics, if you've been literally enrolled in a PhD program, not MD program. And I'm not saying MD programs don't understand these same politics, where he will laugh at me for dropping out of my PhD, and then he says, you know, if you drop out of your PhD, you can just become a neuroscience PhD, like what's his name, Infinity, because they say that.
Excuse me.
They always. Yeah.
Fuck your mother, bitch.
Yeah, that's Neo. This is fucker Neo. Waited all day for that.
That was refreshing.
He waited all day for that.
That was refreshing because
he waited for it.
He said Mokh Sharma. He used a grandmother, and that is a picture of a nice grandmother, Mokh Sharma. That's a pretty good name, actually. That's refreshing. ये जो ब्राह्मण की name है, like हमारे पास में. This is a Brahmin name in our house.
What about Satoshi Nakamoto? What about that name?
Yeah, watashi no Satoshi Nakamoto Satoshi janai desu. Janai desu ne. Yeah, okay. So now that we've got
Central Intelligence, an agency in the center, an intelligence agency at the center.
So I know the people from the military always tell me that CIA generally recruits ex-military. and I know that I'm not gonna ever get into CIA. And then I've also been told that what happens in Washington D.C. is that a lot of people in Washington D.C. area, like Northern Virginia, what happens is sometimes they'll die and there'll be a funeral, and then at the obituary they will reveal that they were CIA. That's the only time you find out that they were CIA the whole time. So they were told, you can't really do something to somebody just because they're ex-military, because then maybe it could be fabricated. They could make it up. They could just say, oh, he was CIA. It's because how the military takes care of each other. A lot of these veterans, they can't actually assimilate back into the real world. We've seen that in movies. The Covenant is a good movie about people who go to Afghanistan. And, like, Hurt Locker, like, there's nothing wrong with CIA. But anyway, I don't like labels because labels are really easy to manipulate. Like, people started calling me Russian because I wrote Dhritarashtra in Cyrillic, which is just not necessarily Russian. It could be so many different post-Soviet languages, but I use Andrew. That's my legal middle name. It says Dhritarashtra in Cyrillic and Dhritarashtra in the Japanese script because BB.
Bro, Andrew, can you like just stick to the topic? I know there's a lot in your head, and everyone's got something.
I find Sonny
but
to
can
be a
you
great.
at least try
Sonny
to?
is a great. He's a great host. You know, Sonny's like a Howard Stern.
Yeah,
All
you
the
can
different topics. Really
you
fun.
can
Just-
hang out
you
with
don't-
him.
You don't. I know you don't get along with him, but
No, you look.
it may be time for us to be that you. And if you can't be hanging out with Sonny, man, I can't hang out with you. That's what it is.
Okay, man, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem. But
you
look,
need
I
to
need
those mom
to.
jokes. I agree, the mom jokes. But I mean,
the
hell,
tone.
you're getting bullied. You're getting bullied by Sonny. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
No, it's
I
not
don't
about
think
getting
I don't
bullied.
think JR was bullied by Sonny.
No,
because I think actually JR was misrepresented by Sonny because when we conducted that quote unquote trial, who always defended JR? It was Arvin Bale on this app. Arvin Bale on this app was the one who said JR should not be banned by all of us because he's a really cool guy. And I didn't know JR that well. Honestly, I haven't been on the app long enough to know JR. I know Arvin from the old days, I know Nachiketa from the old days, and I know Sunny from the old days. But I don't know JR. I also know Ascetic Monk from the old days of Clubhouse. I know Jason from the old days.
Yeah, but Andrew, here's the thing. We try to expand the group. We want to bring in more people inside, and these people are not helping because every time you start a room, these fuckers just go in so many different directions. A lot of ad hominems, and it's like, and a lot of insults, and it's like half an hour, 1 hour is gone. Like, do I really want to waste that type of time? I mean, really?
Saibat.
I'm not interested.
Saibat. In Hindi, we say Saibat. This is.
I'm not interested. Like, okay, you want to banter with me? Like, Evtol does it in a very clean way, back and forth. And then when me and him we are alone, I think we have good conversations too. At least I do. But like other than that, I don't want this fucker to run this club, man. Yeah.
With it.
Yeah.
Or never mind. Go ahead.
Look, Evtol, if he wants to go hang out with those guys, it's fine. But he's welcome here. I don't have a problem with Evtol. But the rest of the group, especially Sonny, even Dolly for that matter.
Dolly, I'm friends with them, man. And
Dolly, great guy, but look, his conversations are. I can't follow that guy. He's a fucking very bizarre guy, man. I don't want to waste 30, 40 minutes talking about some bullshit nonsense.
You learn something new. Why not?
Nah, I didn't learn shit from him. Probably 10%.
JR, I'll tell you what I don't like JR. I don't like Dolly either. I really don't like Dolly. In fact, but I have to deal with people like Dolly because my family in India is very loyal to Punjab. I'm not loyal to Punjab, but my dad's side, they live there. Most people in India do not tolerate that stuff. But like the thing is, if you're from that area near Amritsar, you have to deal with that.
Yeah, South Indians don't have any beef with Khalistani, so I mean, he's not even a Khalistani, but your claims that he's the
I don't. Look, I don't have a problem with Dolly, man. But I just have a problem with where he takes the conversation. That's all, and it just derails the room, and then it becomes like a a tennis match between him and either Puru or some other guy who come in.
Me.
And then it becomes like a fucking half an hour, 45 minutes gone. No one is participating. Rooms are not growing. And it's like I'm not getting new voices in the room. So it's rather he does a very special room somewhere else in his own club. And that's it. I mean, he's welcome to come here and listen. That's pretty much it. But look, from now on, I'll be driving all these. I'll be setting a very hard set boundaries, in my opinion. And if they fucking violate the norms, like Jason was saying, just put them down. That's it. I'm not even going to explain myself at this point. I'll just say go read the norms in this club is listed in the club section, and that's it. I don't want to deal with these fuckers anymore, man.
JR, I actually got in trouble in Washington D.C. for not reading stuff, and I had to learn the hard way that if you don't read contracts really carefully, I got in trouble because I brought in a guest who was not supposed to be there, and that guest was because I thought I was being hospitable, like we do our quote unquote pre-modern. You know, it is true we have pre-modern ways in India. We have pre-modern ways. And we need to get rid of those pre-modern ways. I did my pre-modern thing where I was really nice to somebody using that pre-modern mentality. And we need to reform our country to accept that sometimes rules are rules. And I agree with you.
Yeah, look, Andrew is welcome here. I think if we keep him in track, I think he's a very nice guy, in my opinion. He can contribute a whole lot. So are you, so is Jason, you know. But some of these guys, they just derail the conversation. They think that, everyone should know about Shrubda Brahman. Like, come on, man. Like a guy like Jason or someone else, how is that person even going to know? And then he wants you to do all the work. He won't even dumb it down for you, right? Like I said, if I don't come from that background, right, how am I supposed to know this? It's like me talking about proxy servers all day long. So the common sense is missing, you know. I mean, he has no ability to connect with people on a very basic level. So if a person is not able to break down complex ideas in simple way, then I think he's not done a good job, in my opinion. It doesn't matter how much he knows. And also I find some of his thing is a ship without a GPS. It's lost in a Pacific Ocean. If I ask him how am I going to apply this in real life, I mean, he's got no answer too sometimes. And then I spend like an hour just listening to that bullshit. I don't want to go through all that, man. So it's time to make decision and start cutting people off. Yeah, I mean, and then they keep calling me this dumb, this, that. Come on, man. Like, who has time for all this shit? Drama.
So JR, let me help you a bit, is that there's this term called polemical. And I think a lot of people in America in general are very polemical, but in our circles especially, we're super polemical, and to the point where the only reason I got convinced to go against Razib